going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil. And today we're going to have a roundtable, a mock roundtable that, of course, Brian had to bother me all about. And speaking of that, let me bring in the roundtable. The guys, of course, I'm going to go from top to bottom here. We got Loyal Cowboys. We got, of course, Game Time Brian over here, the pain in the ass. And then Space Cowboy and, of course, Cole's Cowboy. What's going on, fellas?
What's good?
Doing good. Doing well.
How's it going?
It's going. It's going. What's going on, Game Time, man? I before we got onto the broadcast, I made sure that I let Brian know that let people talk. And that's why he's a little bit silent over there. No need to be salty, Brian. But guys, welcome, man. The draft is coming around the corner. The Dallas Cowboys are making news. Even today, as we're about to do this, we get news that Jonathan Hankins signs for with the Dallas Cowboys. I want each of you before we go into this whole draft thing. What does a guy like Jonathan Hankins brings to the Dallas Cowboys? Go ahead, Jay. Yep, experience. Okay. What about you, Space?
You're bringing a guy that's, just what exactly you need is just a guy that could be a cheap guy at that defensive tackle rotation, which he was very productive for the, cost you had for him. So I'm glad he's back, and also allows you to go into the draft and do BPA if you really want to.
Mm-hmm. I agree. What's up, Cole? So what do you think about the signing?
Hey, I love it, man. It's something that we address early instead of in the middle of the season. A solid guy that can definitely help stop the run. And as you can see in our division, we need to stop the run. So we need a guy like him.
And of course, Game Time Brian. Brian was going on for weeks about how we needed to sign Hankins, kind of reestablish that defensive line, at least get started, because there were pieces that went out. Game Time, what do you think about it? What is your feeling now, finally, that it's happening?
Listen, man, there's one thing he can do, okay? And it's one thing that's very important. He can stop the run. And that's what he's getting paid to do. He signed a 1 year, $1.5 million deal. My guess is Catboy threw him a couple $100,000 more to actually, sign the dotted line. But at the end of the day, he brings his lunch pail. He's a blue collar dude. He just gets the job done. Probably play about 20 snaps. I'm happy. Let's roll, man. Like Space said, we go into the draft with not having any real glaring needs, and that's what you want to do going into the draft. So I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I know there's word about the offensive line and what's going on there. Are we shifting over? Are we doing the thing that we did a couple of years ago when the music stops? That's where the alignment stop, and that's where their position is going to be. I really haven't heard anything from the camp so far. Like, what do you guys think about the possibility of Tyron Smith starting over a guy like Steele? To me, I find it more of a progression blocker, and I think that's kind of how I feel about it. But what do you guys think about the whole situation there?
I think we should go ahead and go with Steele and the other Tyler Smith. I don't think is a good move.
What about you, Space?
No, don't. We don't take a guy that's played right tackle his entire career and throw him in at left guard. You don't do that, because we tried putting him. I understand, younger player, and you put him at left tackle, and that was a debacle in and of itself, because you're asking him to do the exact opposite when he's still trying to learn the position. And now you're asking him to play a whole different position on the opposite side when he's coming back from an ACL tear. And, I'm not saying the dude doesn't have a work ethic to get it done, but it's like, why are we making it so that the right tackle plays left guard? The guy that can play left guard, you're putting him at attack. It's like, what are we doing here? It's just all this musical chairs crap. Just, if you really are dead set on, and me personally, I think it's a smoke screen, honest to God. Look, just draft a dude. Just draft a dude in the first 3 rounds and call it quits. That's it.
I agree. Cole? What do you think about the situation? What are you hearing? But what would you like to finally settle on?
I think we should just leave the guys where they need to be at. You know what I'm saying? Offensive line is difficult, man. It's like writing with your right hand and they making you write with your left. You know what I'm saying? When you're used to that spot, you need to stick to that spot, man. Tyron Smith, he was productive in right tackle, but we know he would have been better at left tackle, you know what I'm saying? But since we got to, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, mess it all up
man.
again.
You know what I'm saying? I
You
guess
could
they
say,
give-
Cole, the Tyron Smith was average at
Tyron
best
Smith-
on the right side, man.
Exactly.
It's funny that Space at the end of his comment, he said smoke screen. I 100% think
think it
that's a
is.
smoke screen. We all know what they're looking at in the draft. Listen, I really think we're going to draft a guard, and we'll get into that when we do our picks. Whether it's in the first round or the second round, there'll be a guard. I think Tyron's going to be the swing guy. Like I've been saying the whole offseason, Terrence Steele is ahead of schedule. I saw an interview with him 2 months ago when he was saying he very little pain. Now he's running without a brace. He's going to be ready to go week 1. So that's what we need. The whole Tyron Smith thing at right tackle was okay at best. He's going to be the swing guy, and that's where I want him.
Now, as we're talking about that, and we're getting we went into the offseason, obviously the thing of number 2s. We need to get a number 2 wide receiver. We need a number 2 corner. I wanted number 2s that could possibly play in the number 1s, and I think they've done a really good job. Obviously, giving away some of that draft capital that they've been able to really kind of turn into gold with a lot of those picks. What do you think going into this draft is the biggest need, if there was a need on this team? We're going to start with Space. Go ahead.
Me personally, it's the left guard position. I mean, if you want to go down position by position, you basically stayed square where you were at the end of the season last year, or you upgraded at certain positions. You can make the technical arguments, okay, you need a linebacker here, or like something to stand a third, but the definitive need, if you made me ask for one, is your left guard spot, and is also, this is something you have to consider, because they're looking at guys with center flex. Tyler Biadasz is entering a contract year, ladies and gentlemen, so if the Cowboys are not going to pay up for Tyler Biadasz, you could see them draft a guy like Steve Avila. I don't want to get too far into it, or John Michael Schmidt. And they could use him as a guard and slide him into center long term. So just keep in mind that that's what you should be looking at, is guard.
So game time. Do you agree with that? Do you agree that guard is?
And we'll get into the thing. I think it's going to be one of them deals where if you want a guy like John Michael Schmitz, he possibly will be there in a second. I don't think so. I think both of these guys are going to go in between our pick at 26 and our pick at 58. I think we'd be fooling ourselves. But I'm on the same page with him. We've discussed that, Phil. So without getting too in detail before we start this mock, I totally agree. I'm looking at that. Now, if we get wiped out, how I've been, telling you that I want to stick to the best player available. I don't think he'll be there, but if Bijan is there at 26, you can't overlook that. I'm sorry, but you can't. People hate that. I'm hoping he goes, but anyway.
I'm gonna have a different question for Cole and Loyal Cowboy here. I want to know, with you guys being at the end of that first round, are you guys opposed to the Cowboys, backing out of that first round and picking up some extra draft picks, more into the middle? Would you be against that type of trade? Cole,
I would move back.
Cole. Okay, you'd move back, James. Okay.
Yeah. It would depend. It depends on the fall of how the draft is. If there's guys that we thought will go in the first round, and they kind of look like they get, and this happens all the time, by the way. They be like, they second day guys, like people that shock the world. Nakobe Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then we trade.
He's going to make the Pro Bowl this year. Come on now.
We trading back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the only way I would trade back, if I feel like we can get somebody in the second. Then we got 2 second-round picks or 2 third. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the only way I do it.
There's a lot of. Yeah, and go ahead, James. Go ahead.
I was just saying, there's a lot of we can pick up linemen in free agency. So why waste that? I mean, we could get somebody else. There's so many players. I mean, and last year our line wasn't that great, but I mean, we still was able to do good with Connor Williams and all those guys. So,
but the thing about the Cowboys, they do not get like top, tier starter
No.
offensive lineman in free agency.
No.
They
So
do not.
okay, so the question I'm going to go in before we go into this draft, which we're about to jump into, is there anybody in this draft that you feel would be worthy of moving up for? Because not many people talked about moving up or anything like that. Game Time, I want your opinion first. Give it to me.
I'm not moving up for anybody. Okay. Like depending on who's gone and how our board looks like, if it's a couple spot move, there's one guy that I told you from the beginning that I'm in love with. He's my number 2. It would be the wide receiver out of TCU, Quentin Johnston. If he's just a couple picks ahead of us and, but I really don't want to move up. I'm looking to do the opposite or stick and pick. So, but that's a guy. I'm not moving up for anybody else. But Quentin Johnston is going to be a beast in this league.
I agree. What about you, Space? What do you think? Moving up?
It has to be when you get to like 17 or 20, who's there? Like, I mean, I love a lot of some, like Joey Porter. I'm a big fan. I'm a Penn State guy, so of course my bias is showing there. The guy out of Northwestern, huge fan of him. And I understand that there's some questions about where he's gonna go. And also you got JSN, Johnston, but for me, this is a draft class where, unless someone falls, this is kind of more of a middle heavy draft. This isn't a top heavy draft as people would like. So I'm not trading up unless the blinking light that should have been like a top 10 pick or a top 15 pick is there at like 19 or 18. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about
it's
you, James?
Expensive though to move up, man. Just to let you know that it's expensive.
It is.
So.
If I moved up, it would be for Jackson Smith at Jigma.
I
live in Buckeye country, so
I love him. He's my number 1.
But I mean, I've seen what he can do. I watch Buckeyes every week, so I mean, I would move up for him, but I don't know if he's going to be there.
Yeah. What about you, Cole?
I'll move up for Skoronski. That dude.
Skoronski, look at you.
I want him on. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about this offensive line, man. And, I want to be like how the other team is. We don't care what back we got. They gonna bring good on our line. That's what I want. I want.
He going top 10.
Yeah, I know. But I want him, man.
All right. So are you guys ready to get into this draft and talk and and kind of debate some of this stuff, go through the first round, see how fast it kind of goes?
Yeah. Just real quick. Eric Wallace, what's up, my man? Twiz. Hey, dude, I only had a hard cider one time for the next hour. Let's just say I wasn't myself. Yeah, I mean, have we decided who's going first and all that? I think we should let the guests go first.
Yeah, there you go. Like,
let's just stick to it. We'll go clockwise or whatever, or let Space go and followed by Coles. We'll go counter. We'll go Space, Coles.
Can you see that, guys?
Yeah, I could see it.
Loyal.
Yeah.
You, me, or me, you, whatever. It don't matter.
Let me just.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah. So no one's gonna see it on my end, which is fine. So I'll just, we'll keep track.
It is on with the Zoom. Like if you're doing the broadcast, everybody can see it as well.
All right, cool. We should be good, but we'll go through all the picks. So.
All right. So yeah, exactly. So
you got your sound effect ready, man? That's my John. There it is.
Can't do it for each one because it's just gonna get annoying.
It's our show, Phil. We do what we want.
I do what I want. All right, so guys, Carolina, of course, trading with the Chicago Bears. I was about to say the Bulls, and I was like, yeah, we're just on a whole different sport.
Oh shit, we're in trouble.
Obviously, I mean, everybody can kind of assume what they're going up for. I was kind of more on the I was kind of throwing my pick around when Chicago was originally on this whole
let's space pick it.
Thing. But yeah, okay, space. Who do you think at what point, what quarterback do you think that Carolina will go with?
So if we're talking about who I think Carolina is going to go with,
are we doing that? Are we going to do what we think they're going to do or what we would do?
I mean, I always like to do what I would, what we should do.
Okay, let's do that.
Because I think that makes it fun. That's just my opinion. I'm not telling you how to do a show. But for me, I'm going to go with my quarterback one. So I will go, if you want to do the sound effect.
There you go. See, yeah, he's into it. I like it.
With the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State. If you want, and to explain the pick, just for people to understand, I think that C.J. Stroud, you have a guy that has, of course, I know the intangibles thing. He's a higher build, a better build than Bryce Young, and I think that the biggest thing is that I think, in my personal opinion, C.J. Stroud is the most pro-ready quarterback out of this draft class. And I think now with Bryce Young, while I think his ceiling can be higher, I would prefer to go with Stroud here because I have less question marks about Bryce Young, or I have less question marks about C.J. Stroud than Bryce Young. So yeah, let me go with C.J. Stroud here.
And I would say I agree with you. This is who I would take, but this is a wild card here. Anthony Richardson may be the first quarterback off the board. I'm just saying, I have a weird feeling, and it's not warranted, but he has what all these scouts want. He has all the traits, but I would go Stroud. But just looking ahead, I think Richardson very well could be the pick, which would be crazy. Really would. But, hey.
So, Cole, we're going to give it to you. Who do you believe that Houston will pick with the second pick of the NFL draft?
Come on now.
I believe.
All right. What would you do if you were Houston? Who would you franchise guy? If you're replacing Watson and everything, who would you pick to
Sound
do that?
Sound effect, please. That's awesome.
I see the Houston Texans getting a guy like Bryce Young, of course. If he on the board, they're going to get Bryce.
There you go.
Very close and similar to Watson, I would say. Obviously, there's some, different things there, but I think it really what they had and what they want to build around, and I believe that would be definitely a good pick for them. What do you think, James? Do you think that would be the pick for Houston?
Yeah, they definitely need a quarterback. I mean, they don't have one right now.
So, James, while you're here on there, give me, what is Arizona going to do? They, got a quarterback already that, they have to put into contracts to make sure he studies. They got some needs. They definitely have some needs here.
I'm gonna surprise y'all. All the needs on there is not what they're gonna pick. If you want to play the draft music, I'll tell you what they're gonna pick.
Oh man, he's already ready. He's
like do what you got to do, bro.
Yeah.
With the third round pick of the 2023 NFL draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, TCU.
I could see that happening, dude. I mean,
they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, so
and he's going to be the first receiver
AJ
taken.
Green retired.
Man,
I mean,
that's awesome.
Gotta give Kyler Murray some weapons.
What's going on, man? I haven't seen him in a while.
We ain't trading that far up, so
no, not at all. But then
I know that was your guy game time, but that's what I think they're gonna do.
Well, I wasn't. Again, I don't want to trade up. I'm more in the let's trade back and get another top 100 pick. But I'm just saying, the question was asked, who would I trade up for within a couple spots?
Don't blame me. Okay, so game time. You're going to get the next one.
Oh, I get the Colts? Okay.
You get the Colts. You get to rebuild the Colts, and in that, good luck with that.
Well,
so anyways, do you have?
They're going quarterback here. It's just a matter of which one. I'm going to go with. I think with the fourth pick, I'm gonna surprise some people. Just based off of his Steichen, he likes a mobile quarterback. I think you're gonna see Anthony Richardson being taken with the fourth pick by the Indianapolis Colts.
All right. I definitely can see that.
That's a reach. I mean, there's Jalen Carter is still on the board, and you would think that you would want to go with the stick to the board, but these teams want quarterbacks.
they definitely need to work on their offense. So I wouldn't be against that as long as it's the offensive pick for them. Space, Cole, what do you guys think about there? What would you guys have done with the Colts? What did the Colts need to focus on?
Cole, do you want to go first?
Oh, I would just say quarterback. I was agreeing with Anthony Richardson.
It was either him or Will Levis,
so
but Will Levis.
This is what the Colts need to seriously think about. You either have to do one of two things. Either you're trading that pick because you like Will Levis and you're trying to push his stock down, or you really like Hendon Hooker and you're getting him in the second round or at the late end of the first if you want the 5th round option. This is just how I'm playing GM. But if it were me, I'm not playing with the crap. Give me my quarterback with the guy that I know that I can build around. Go get my head coach's guy, and let's boogie from there. Go get the quarterback.
Yeah. They're going to get to, like, you know how that works. You're not always at the top of the draft. So it's like they're going to get their quarterback, especially with a guy like Steichen. That's why I went with Richardson over Levis. I think Richardson has a higher ceiling, but Levis will be more ready to go, I would imagine. But who knows?
I agree. So, they've had seasoned quarterbacks the last 2 years. I think they need to go look for their quarterback for the future now.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. And that's why I'm okay with that pick. Getting your guy. It doesn't matter if he's, he's supposed to be a mid-round. Just get your guy when you can get your guy.
Get your guy.
Yep.
You don't want to mess around. You don't know who's has their eye on them. Yep. It's like the girl at the club or whatever. It's like if you got that person, man, you need to pick them. Exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna go next. So I'm gonna be Seattle. I don't trust Geno Smith. I don't know about you. I would think about picking a quarterback to kind of to start to at least learn from him if you're gonna get it. But Geno does have that contract, and they need to start learning to stop some teams. So I am going to actually go with Will Anderson Jr. out of Alabama to start solidifying their defense. Yep, and hopefully that does something for them, man. They need to start working on that stuff. So, what do you guys think about that?
I like it.
Yeah, I think that with Geno, the thing that I like about it is you have a bridge quarterback, and there's no disrespect to Geno. I think Geno will be playing at a well enough level to keep you complacent there, but this allows you time to build up the roster and then go after the quarterback if you're choosing. Like, if you want to go after Caleb Williams next year, if you're like, F it, let's just go all in there, you could do that. So I definitely like the pick there.
All right,
I think it comes down to him and Tyree Wilson, and you have to go Anderson, in my opinion. So that was the pick, Phil. You passed.
I'll take it. All right, I retire, and you guys are picking the rest. So Space is going to come back around, and Space is going to have the the Las Vegas Raiders. Woo, that was
that's going to be a hard one to fix right there.
Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day, so. So anyway, Scott, Space, who do you have? If you were Detroit, who would you pick in that spot?
So if I'm Detroit, I'm like crossing my fingers that Will Anderson gets there because I would want to pair him with what the hell's his name? Aiden Hutchinson. But because I've been screwed there. So what I personally think they should do is, if I'm them, I am getting a weapon for Jared Goff to pair alongside Jamison Williams. If you could scroll down, I just want to see what guys are on the board really quickly. Alrighty, I know what I'm doing. If you want to play the sound effect.
All right. I know where he's going with it.
With the 6th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver, Ohio State.
I can see that.
I thought you were going tight end there. I thought you were going to reach for, because they lost Hawkinson.
Nope.
I like that. I like that pick a lot because you have, the past 2 seasons, you really haven't replaced the speed. Well, the injury speed that they have in Galladay. And so, yeah, I like this pick because he is a weapon. He definitely is a weapon. So I'm definitely happy with that pick.
And I will be clear. Some people will say, like, okay, what about Jalen Carter? Should he go here? You can make the argument for that. But I think with Detroit, I understand that the whole defense was there. But I feel like for them, you need to get some more speed on that offense. And I think that if I'm GMing, I would look at trading down depending on who's going to bite and just take a player there. But I think that you can trade back up in the first round. And I'll even, if it goes the way that I think it's going to go, I'll mention that. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you because they just signed Marvin Jones back today. So that's why I kind of agree with Space. Maybe drop down and you get that tight end, any one of, there's a bunch of them. But yeah, I mean, if we're sticking and picking, I think that's where you got to go.
Yeah, I'm definitely good with that. So Cole, give me the pick for the Las Vegas Raiders as we come up. What would you do if you, of course, were in that situation?
Let's see. Raiders.
He's thinking, man. He's thinking.
That's okay.
Well, what do they need? Let's discuss. I mean, what do they?
They need a lot, man.
But I mean,
do they need that quarterback, or
do they have the
Garoppolo guy?
They're not gonna get a quarterback. They're not gonna get a quarterback high. Let's see. Scroll down.
What about you, James? What would you?
Yeah, you got Ruggs in jail.
Well, I don't want to take his pick, but I'd say offensive lineman because they're gonna need it.
I was thinking that, but I don't want to.
Yeah,
they need somebody to protect. He
ain't gonna make it, Cole. So you might want to just give it to him.
Yeah, I know. They'll give Peter Skoronski, man.
There you go. There you go. I tell you, he's a top 10 guy.
On the Raiders, man.
I mean, they could go corner, right? I mean, they could, but I mean, I don't think they will.
It's the old Raiders would have picked a wide receiver from the 7th round, and then because he had speed. So hopefully, I would wait for them to. Yes. So with the next pick, of course, loyal Cowboy is going to be our person. Of course, who would you pick if you were the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, seeing as they did sign Eyebrows, and they also signed Calais Campbell,
and they have Desmond Ridder from last year. So
yeah, but go ahead and play the music. With the 8th round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Myles Murphy, defensive end, Clemson.
Nice.
I think they're gonna beat their defense up. I mean, they just signed Calais Campbell, so that's my opinion.
Start working on that defense more. I mean, start building something, at least some kind of weapon to start stopping some people because your offense definitely wasn't staying in games. So I could see them kind of going anywhere with this pick. So it's not surprising if anybody picked anything there. I would have been like, yeah, that sounds good. They need that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now, well, who's on board? You got Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Chicago with their.
They need a tackle. They need a center. They need a down lineman.
That's gonna be
Jalen Carter is sitting there, but I think Jalen Carter is going to slide. Let's see. What would they do? What would I do? What would I do? I would run Jalen Carter's thing in right now. So, but let me look. Yeah, chill out, my man.
What position?
They really need offensive linemen, man. They really need offensive linemen. So I'm gonna go Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State, tackle.
That's a good one.
All right,
they ain't gonna go very far without protecting their star quarterback.
I think the problem with him is his habits are to run. So even if they get him a line to protect, if he doesn't have guys running around open, I think that's still going to be his downfall.
Right.
So I'm okay with that. I'm definitely still okay with that pick because you need to start protecting him more.
This is a tough one now, Phil. You got the Eagles pick. Everybody in the Delaware Valley is holding their breath on your selection here.
I already know who the Eagles are gonna pick, but
they ain't taking
prime
who.
Times.
They're not gonna get. I don't think
I got an idea who they're gonna take.
They ain't taking the running back.
I was Philadelphia, and I was really trying to go. I don't, I don't know what's going to happen with Slay. I don't know any of that stuff. But if I was them, I would, of course, take Joey Porter Jr. to start.
Ooh,
yep, that's exactly what.
Okay, I thought you were talking the running back.
That's who they're gonna pick, I think.
Yeah, I would definitely pick them if I was them, just to kind of stick it to us a little bit, because he was talked to us for early on. But again, you need to replace some guys that left, and I think that would be a great pickup.
That would be a great pick.
I hope they get Bijan.
I'm thinking now, if in all reality and knowing Howie, he's going to trade that pick and drop down a few spots, which it would be the right move, for him to do. So I would think this is a spot for a trade down to the mid-teens to get who we're all talking about, Bijan, and then use the 30 pick for defense. But that's just my opinion.
Gotcha.
What would you guys have done? Space, what would you have done if you were?
So here's what I would have done. I would have definitely traded down, because this is such a prime trade down consideration right here, and because with how much they lost in free agency, I think that you're just looking to kind of keep churning and burning your roster over the next couple of years. However, staying and picking is also fine too. I mean, it's really, you have unlimited options on what you want to do. I think Joey Porter Jr. is a fine pick, but I think that you can make the argument. Then again, I will say this because I'm going to play devil's advocate here. You could be like, well, they already have Slay. They already have, Bradbury. Why did they need another corner? Well, those guys are older. But then, okay, well, they did the same thing with wide receivers, even though they were younger. They stacked a bunch of wide receivers in the draft, and they built that core up. Don't be afraid to do that. This is best player available territory. Any good GM should do that. That's how you win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. You could have, if you're Philly, you could have traded back a little bit and still picked up Joey Porter Jr. But we have an Eagles fan.
I agree, though, with
Carter's pickup or Gonzalez if they went corner. But go ahead, Gabe.
Well, I would agree with the trade down, because you got to remember, they only, even though they have 2 firsts, and I keep hearing, they got 2 firsts, they only have 5 total picks. So this would be a perfect opportunity to trade down. But you need a trading partner. What's nice is there still is a quarterback on the board. Actually, I think 2 quarterbacks are going to go left in the first round, but we'll get to that.
We throw a curveball.
Yeah, I think I'm telling you. I don't know who's going to get that team, but
I'm telling you.
You watch.
That's what I think they could do with their picks. I say they stick with the 10th pick and get a corner or a D lineman, and then they trade that 30th pick.
They could do that too.
Yeah, they could do that. Mm-hmm.
So James, we're gonna go James, and then we're gonna go Cole. Actually, James will go Game Time, and then we'll go Cole. With the 11th pick with Tennessee, where do you see, what direction would you go if you were the GM?
Play music.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't playing games tonight.
With the 11th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle.
You already took him. He's gone.
He's already taken. Wait a minute. Okay.
You already took him once.
Yeah.
He good, but he ain't that good.
Okay, hold on. We already took Paris Johnson too, right?
Yeah, he gone.
So what about Broderick Jones? I think they're gonna get tackled.
You got to search for him, probably.
Oh, there he was. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Broderick Jones. There we go.
All right.
So Tennessee, yeah, I mean Tennessee needs some weapons, but they need a lot of O-line help. It's just a problem that they had throughout the year. To me, they had a lot of that problems. The run game never really got going. Everybody likes to talk about, of course, Henry, and he's a hard guy to bring down, but he had to do a little bit more than what he's had to do in past years. But could it be because of the wide receivers and the receivers that they let go? not having it all relied on him. What do you guys think? Game time starting with you. We'll go space and everything. What do you guys think if you were Tennessee? What would you have done there?
I don't know that I would have went there. I think at some point you got to realize who the coach is, and he's Mr. Defense. He probably would have maybe went with Jalen Carter. Now I'm hearing that they're looking to trade their safety, so look for that in the draft. No, it's the cornerback. Help me out with the name, guys. What's the?
This is safety Byard.
Yeah, Byard. That's it.
Safety, yeah.
So they're looking to trade him just based on contract. Obviously, they're looking to trade the running back. We'll see what happens. They do need a tackle, but I think that they probably would have possibly looked to go D line there. Speaking of that, just real quick, man, wouldn't it be nice to be able to pry Simmons out of there, man? That's who we need. The D lineman out of Tennessee. I'm hearing he's on a block too, but that's going to cost you a high pick and a lot of money. So, man, that would be rough. But man, that's the guy you want, Simmons. But
all right, so we're going to continue to go down order. We'll just go down with my list here. So, Space, you're going to be up next.
You skipping me?
Shouldn't it be Cole because he picked for the Texans? That would be weird for me to like.
Okay, yeah.
If we have a team
who just went.
I didn't even keep track of that. I would just.
It was Cole's. It's me next.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, so you can go then.
I don't care, but it's technically it's me next, and then you.
Well, I'll go right in the. I'm just gonna go down the order of pictures. Sorry, guys, I'm throwing everything off. So
yeah,
sorry.
I don't want us to be in a situation where like I'm thinking about taking it for a team, and then I'm not taking.
No, it's me, and looking at their needs, me.
They already got a quarterback. They went and got one.
Who? The Texans? Who'd they get?
Yes. Well, in here, they were up high. You got Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Cole took Bryce Young. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. They're going to stick with. All right. Well, then this is easy. They're going to go Jalen Carter. They're going Jalen Carter out of Georgia.
He ran that up before they even ready. So Jalen Carter, I'm definitely okay. He's been slipping on the board. I can see if he did slip because of his pro day. Yeah, I mean that's not unheard of. I just think that
you're sitting there. You're sitting there at 12, man. He's a number one talent in the draft. If not, non-quarterback. You could argue Tyree Wilson, but yeah, just give me the best player available at this point. You know what I mean?
All right, so we're going to continue on, and we're just going to go down the thing. So, Space, you're good with picking the Jets here, the 13th pick. What would you do?
No, it's you, Phil. You're next.
No, I'm just going down the list of the pictures down the side.
Whatever you want to do, I don't care.
We've been doing a rotate. Now you're switching it up.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. I the way I see it is I see it in the list. I see me, James.
It's Cole's.
Bates, and then Cole.
Okay.
So yours is opposite than mine. So.
Okay.
So that's why.
Yeah. So
now you're throwing him off.
Scroll down a bit. Let me see what I would want to do here with the.
He don't want to pick. That's his problem. He's scared.
I want to pick, but I want to just see who's on the board.
Not you, Phil.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. You don't want to pick. He's trying to line up the Cowboys for him.
Oh, yeah,
okay. I don't want to pick the Cowboys, so.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't either.
All right, I think I know what I'm going to do here.
All right, here we go.
With the 13th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Anton Harrison, offensive tackle, Oklahoma.
Nice pick. With what you possibly have coming over, you could see obviously that trade being done if they can do something early to where that will be a Green Bay's pick. But, I think it's a really good, especially with the weapons that they have gotten. Cole, what do you think about, picking that tackle there with the Jets?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I wanted the Jets to get get offensive line, of course, especially since they're trying to go all in. Seems like it, so they need those tackles and guards to protect Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, yeah, fill in the blank kind of thing. Insert quarterback's name here, and then we'll go from there. So in my over here, we got Cole's next. Cole, New England, you get the 14th pick for the New England Patriots. What would you do if you were in that situation?
Okay, the Patriots. Okay, let's see.
They always throw a curveball, man. They always take a guy who's not even in a first round talent. But
I'm a shock a lot of Patriot fans. Scroll down a little bit. All right, hit my theme music.
All right. He's like, I want it twice. That's how much I mean.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, media.
For the 2023 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Zay Flowers, Austin College.
Ooh.
Hey, okay.
You know they wouldn't do that.
It's not unheard of, man. They don't like doing a lot of the big capital on those guys, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with Belichick, man. Nothing surprises me with that guy.
Belichick sucks at drafting. He would never touch this guy.
So I will take on Green Bay here. So in the next order. And so with me, I'm thinking that I have traded off Aaron Rodgers but I'm not, I got the future of next year. And so I have this pick here. And so with me, not a big Jordan Love fan. So I think to me, I would take Will Levis here and pick which quarterback you're going to do. Pick one, insert, and figure out in camp which guy you're going to go with. And you need to start thinking about that future of a guy that you're not going to argue with, that's not going to be a diva on the TV shows and everything. And not to say that Green Bay won't mess them up like that, but quarterback is where I would be going. And I think the one from Kentucky definitely would be a great pick for them. All right, everybody unanimously agrees. I like it.
All right. No, let's see. Green Bay, they could go any number of ways. You got Tyree Wilson there. You got a lot of corners on the board. So, Luke Van Ness. It's a crapshoot. So that's not a bad pick. I think they're going to roll with Love. Did you guys hear, just real quick, the coach is already trying to say, don't, you temper your expectations for Jordan Love. No, we ain't tempering nothing. He's had 3 years to sit back and learn. He's had some bright spots. It's time for him to step up. Don't start, checking that, He's trying to tell everybody to just, calm down. No.
At least against the Eagles, he played pretty decent.
He did.
He'll be fine. I think we'll be
so, James, Loyal Cowboy, you are sorry, man. It's gonna take me a while before I get used to that one.
No
problem. So, anyways, you get to do our,
Commanders,
you get to do watch
Commanders,
left hand up.
So we're picking a kicker, right? We're picking a kicker with this one.
No, they're gonna.
All right, let me see. Can you scroll down a little bit? I want to see.
Pick a defensive lineman like they always do every year.
Okay.
Nolan Smith.
Well, their needs are
up again.
Well, their needs are quarterback, which I don't really think it is. That they need offensive line, and they need linebacker.
They do need.
Okay, hold on. Let me scroll down again. Just go a little slower.
But you never know. This might be a tight end spot. You know what I mean, for them.
Okay. I think I know what they're gonna pick. It's not gonna be any of their needs, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. That's definitely
play the music.
It's your world, man.
With the 16th round pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Michael Mayer, tight end.
You killed me.
That is such a Washington. Like, I could see that happening so much.
You just
great,
good
player.
You just hurt me, man.
He should be a later pick. Yeah, you're right. You're a little bit later, but you could definitely see somebody reaching for him. Yeah, I mean, you got a big body, so
the size, athleticism,
I mean, it definitely wouldn't be unheard of for me. I mean, so yeah, I guess we're just going to go through and get the scrolling because obviously we're not going to give attention to the Washington and what their needs are and give them help. So let's continue on. And now, game time, Brian. You have the rival Pittsburgh Steelers. Can you call it a rivalry anymore? But
it's always a rivalry with him when he beat us back to back.
Sure.
This is an easy one for me. If the board falls this way, I'm running to pick up. This kid is probably my number one in his position. Go ahead, cue the music, my man.
Did not hear it? Did I? I wasn't ready.
I can't hear nothing, my man. With the 17th pick in the 2023 draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Oregon.
To me, that definitely seems like a guy that would definitely hold that, wear that Pittsburgh uniform.
He's a top 10 guy, and he slipped that far. And just remember, guys, I know we're looking at Pro Football Focus, but their rankings are a little bit off. There's guys that aren't even on this first page that are in consideration. But yeah,
all right,
I like it. So, Space, you are going to have Detroit here in this pick. Throwing it off, of course, you're now GM for this. We already traded and you bought ownership of them, so congratulations.
Yes. I am jumping for joy if this is how the draft board falls, because with taking Jackson Smith-Njigba and getting my wide receiver and loading that offense up, play the music, please. With the 18th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Tyree Wilson, edge rusher, Texas Tech. I'm shocked that this guy falls to 18, and while I can see them taking Kalijah Kancey because they needed an interior defensive lineman, with how this board's shaping up, I could probably get someone later. So they get two of the better prospects at their positions that they're driving. Arguably a guy that should go top 5, and they could have taken him at top 5. They get him at 18.
That's how that's the crazy thing about the draft. Obviously, people pick people that you weren't expecting. It's kind of like March Madness. Sometimes you can fill out your board and bracket all you want. It's going to be totally wrong by the end of it. So just enjoy the ride. So, what do you guys think? You guys like that pick for Detroit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it too. So
just to have somebody to compliment what's that guy name?
Hutchinson,
yeah, and he had a great year.
Yeah, I liked him. I like the defense. I like the linebacker. What was it, Rico or Roberto or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't remember what his name. So now on the next one, Cole, you're going to be up for Tampa Bay. You're going to be able to pick what they would pick.
We know who they're taking, Cole. We know it.
Yeah, I know.
We could discuss after your pick. Let's definitely discuss this one.
Yeah, I'm about to be a little creative on this. The Buccaneers, what they need. I would say they'll get Dalton Kincaid.
All right, so
they do need a tight end.
All right, so what do you guys think about that pick? Who were you guys thinking?
I was thinking running back.
I think they're going Bijan there.
You think
because
so?
They lost Leonard they just released Leonard Fournette, so
but it's a hot rumor. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if I had to guess, yeah.
I don't know if I was them. I think that tight end would be a bit too rich for my blood here. I'd probably go with one of the offensive linemen, maybe Torrance, or if you're feeling on Avila, I think that you need to beef up that offensive line a little bit. But then again, I don't know. I think if they were like, shit, we should have traded up for Will Levis. They're a team I would keep an eye out on during the draft process. They could trade up for a quarterback if one of them falls.
Well, there's one left, Space.
Even when they got Baker?
There's one left that's going to go in the first round. I'm just telling you now. It's going to be the guy out of Texas. So it's going to be Hendon Hooker is going to go in the first round.
That'd be weird. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? Game time. What were you?
Yeah, I was thinking Bijan, but You know, everybody thinks Hendon Hooker is going to be around a while. He's going in the first round somewhere. I'm calling it now. Somebody's going to trade up, and take him. So he's
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, he's better than Levis. He's a stud. That's just my opinion. You watch. But I would say Bijan, but Dalton Kincaid, you can't go wrong there. He's a beast too, man. We're talking all blue chip. Now we're getting to the point now, I don't know about you guys, where we're starting to get into his second round grades. Yeah, when you look at these guys, most of these guys left have a second round grade. Not everybody. There's still a couple left, but in my book anyway, these normally anywhere from 16 to 20 first round grades. And then anybody you take after that really is a second round player that you're taking when getting the 5th-year option, So
all right, so it looks like I am next with Seattle, and before kind of nice how that fell into it. So to me, I want, again, I can see them going weapons on the offense, unless you're trading back to get some of those weapons. I would continue to build this defense. Some of these corners here, it depends on where you're falling 20, that's kind of like a prime spot where, you could, like Space mentioned before, you could trade out of that spot because there'd be people left over that people would want to jump up there and you probably give you extra value for. So with me, I would continue building that defensive line and start putting pressure. And to me, Clancy is great, but I would go with Brian over here. Brian, was it Breesy?
Yeah.
Breesy, yeah.
But yeah, that would be my pick there. I know I might be overshadowed, and this is going to be one of those comparisons that if he becomes nothing and the other one does, it's going to be, you had both of them on the board.
Yeah. So I don't like him, but I could see that happening.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Would you have picked, I can't remember his name.
Kalijah
Cansey.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Nolan Smith there, or maybe.
It's a lot of hype about the Chargers possibly getting Bijan. I don't know why, because Kellen Moore gonna waste his talent.
But
I'm thinking tight end though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for the Chargers, like, you really, knowing them, I think that you probably could grab, like, again, best player available if you really want a DB to pair alongside Asante Samuel. You got Devin Witherspoon, who's a guy that I really like. Or if you want to beef up that interior defensive line, you got Kalijah Cansey. But they got a lot of options. Like, they really do.
All right, so the next person is going to be Loyal Cowboy. You get to pick the Chargers here. And what would you do if you were there? Of course, Kellen Moore going over there and going to implement his offense. Defense did okay. They definitely got some star pieces, which I definitely liked for some of the trades that they were making. But if you, of course, were for the Chargers, where would you go with this pick? Let me know. I can scroll down.
Okay, go ahead and roll the play.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you saw the picture. I saw it too.
With the 21st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Bijan Robinson, running back, Texas.
That makes so much sense because they're trying, they might trade Austin Eckler. So if Austin Eckler's traded, damn well they're gonna do what they got to do.
Thank God he's off the board. We don't have to worry about
it. Wasting his time.
I was thinking people are like, "Oh, why did we trade up, man? What's wrong with you guys, man? They were sitting right there, and they could have traded up for him." Yeah, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it. With the next pick here is going to be Game Time Brian with Baltimore. Let me know, what do you think Baltimore?
I know who they're taking.
Or what would you pick?
The
music.
With the 22nd pick in the first round, the Baltimore Ravens select a homegrown talent and cornerback Deonte Banks.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, I mean, defensive guys. I always think defense when I think of Baltimore, so I'm definitely not against this. It's who you're going to pick, whose order, and with these corners here. But I definitely could see them taking a corner.
He's
there.
a Maryland kid. It makes too much sense.
So Space, okay, now you're going to take over the Minnesota here.
And after he makes his pick, this is the spot I was talking about. But go ahead, Space.
Scroll down a bit. Let me see who are my options. A little bit more. All right, I'm good. Scroll back up. With the 23rd pick in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC.
Yeah, and I'm with that because as you see him, he's kind of one of those guys you see slipping on the board. People start getting kind of nervous. They want to make some moves. So I could see somebody trading up to get a guy like that. There's not, I mean, especially when you look at these people in the back of the draft, they're looking for weapons. They want to kind of make that push over the hump, and you need that extra weapon there that can do it. And if you're already down here picking at the bottom part of the draft, most likely you have weapons that he's going to be able to complement. So I definitely like the pick there. What do you guys think about the wide receiver going off the board?
I mean, for me, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, go. Yeah.
My big thing is you elected to let Adam Thielen go. You pair a guy that's talented alongside Justin Jefferson. It makes total sense, and you keep going from there. I mean, realistically, the Vikings, they have a nice roster, and this is just kind of like you just keep stacking with what you got. Just strengthen your strength, and you get Kirk Cousins another weapon. And more importantly, if you feel that Kirk Cousins is not going to be your guy moving forward, you get some weapons for the next guy. So that's a real big thing.
I think this is a spot where I'm hearing a lot of rumors because this is basically Cousins' last year in Minnesota. Hendon Hooker, this could be a curveball where they go and draft him. He may not be around at this time in the second round. So if it's not Addison, and it's one of those deals with the wide receivers is Addison is right behind Njigba in most people's rankings. Now, I loved Quentin Johnson myself, but maybe on their board he's not as high, or he is. We don't know, but this is where I see Hendon Hooker possibly going to shock everybody. Just saying, we want him. We're not waiting. We're going to go get him and maybe get a receiver down the line. So just keep an eye out for that, people.
All right, so Cole, you are next on the clock. You are going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously made a nice push last year, whether it was luck or whether it was actually skill, whether it was them getting into finally figuring out the offense that Peterson brings, whether he's a quarterback whisperer or not. I think there's a lot of things in play. But if you're Jacksonville, how are you moving forward with this pick?
Easy. I'll go with Devin Witherspoon.
He's gonna be. You're just taking all the fun out of it, Cole, man. Damn. No, I'm messing. But no, I definitely like I like that pick. I don't know what way Jacksonville is gonna go. So many needs. It could be definitely best player available, and top of the board. That guy's definitely on the top of the board with a lot of picks. So I'll just continue it going, and I'm going to unfortunately be the New York Giants. So we are definitely taking a punter with this pick. I am definitely going for it. But no, I think the biggest thing that New York needs is defense. I think keeping them in the game because I don't think Daniel Jones is that quarterback that's just going to sling it all over the place, no matter how many weapons you get, or no matter what kind of line you get him. I just don't have that faith in him, but apparently they do, and so they spent the money for him. So either you're going to protect that investment and go offensive line, or you're going to work on the defense. And to me, I am going to go and pair somebody up with their pass rusher from last year, and I am going to go with Nolan Smith here. I think the fact that he's going to be dropping, I could see that. Needs to put on some weight, especially going into the NFL level. But if you have one guy on one side and another one on the other side, I think that's a great pairing going in for your defense, filling in that rest of those gaps that you desperately need. But I like the pick here. So what do you guys think about that pick?
Definitely a nice selection. You get another guy on that defense. And I think for the Giants, they were definitely ahead of schedule last year. And I think that they just need to continue adding talented pieces. Just go with your best, players available. I know you got Daniel Jones as the quarterback, so you don't really have to focus resources on that. And I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Saquon, but this is definitely a nice pick for them. 110%.
All right, so James, you get the honor.
Ooh, look at you, Nooks.
Picking for the Cowboys.
Don't
you get to
fuck it up.
That's what you guys put all this pressure.
All right, well, before we get into the pick, because James, just like before you make the pick, everybody talk about who they think that the Cowboys would take here. Just remember, and I'll go first. Dan Quinn already went out and had a one-on-one. Now, I'm not a super high on this guy, but I'm just a guy in my mom's basement, so what do I know? But Luke Van Ness, he had a one-on-one with Luke Van Ness. He went out to Iowa. So just know that that's what Dan Quinn did, whatever that means. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think that they're going to do here?
So, James, you give it a second. We're going to go and down the thing. Space, tell me, what would you do? What's the big debate? What's going on? Like, what would you do if this board sitting the way that it is?
So definitely got a ton of offensive linemen that are still on the board, and I could probably snag someone at pick 58 that I like. Mafe from UCLA will probably be there at pick 58. But again, there are guys that I like, such as Avila and Torrance that's on the board. I don't, he hasn't gone yet. So definitely like where it's falling for the Cowboys. However, if we're looking at best player available, you can make the argument you're looking at, Cansey, Josh Downs, Lucas Van Ness, and Will McDonald are guys that Dan Quinn didn't meet with. And also they went to Alabama's pro day, so Brian Branch, I don't think they're going to take a safety that high. If it were me, I think that, look, with how this board's going, I want to get a guy in that, in that left guard spot. I'm going to just take Steve Avila and just call it quits there. I'm not going to mess around. But that's where I would go with this, even though you could make arguments for other spots. But I would just take the guard spot.
I agree with that. I'm on board. I'm already on record with that pick. So
all right, I'm probably going to get my head cut off for this, but
yeah,
it's
your world.
We have two more people. Hold on. So, Cole Cowboys, what would you do picking here if the board falls the way it is? What would you feel comfortable picking here?
I was with Space with Avila. I was actually about to say him.
Yeah, we're all on the same page.
If we go defense,
yeah, I would go too. I would be definitely okay with that pick. Solidifying that offensive line at least until somebody in there like a Tyron Smith messes it all up with his. I don't. Even the way that they structured his contract, I don't think that gives him any extra motivation to stay healthy. I mean, it just wasn't something that it was just choosing. So, so I would definitely be okay with it because then I would feel a lot better going forward. But if I was to go defense, I would be a course chance he was.
Man.
Well, I would love to go as well there too.
I'm already getting threats on the comments about J-Nook. Don't get fired, bro. I'm like, man, I'm scared to make my pick now. I love weed.
I would have got.
All right, here we go.
I would have got you
I'm about to put my head down. All right,
there we go.
Play the music.
Your pick, bro.
All the way.
The 26th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Kalijah Cansey, Pittsburgh.
I would not be mad at that pick. I would actually like that
because they're just looking at needs, and the last few years they've always addressed their needs, and that's one of their needs right now.
You didn't let me down. I was like, I would like to take Cansey, but like Steve Avila would make so much sense. But like, holy,
I'd like to have DeJuan Jones, but we don't really need a tackle. I mean, dude's 6'8", but
I would want to talk, just have a conversation with Dan Quinn, behind the scenes and see what he thinks, because not normally a guy that he's into. He's shorter guy, shorter arms, The poor kid's being compared to Aaron Donald, which is not fair. But I love him as a player, so I wouldn't be upset either. I think they go with Avila there. I just do. I don't think he's making it to 58, and I think they're in love with him. So, but I love the pick.
Yeah.
All right. So game time. You are going to be able to be the Bills GM, and before you pick, can we at all trade for Diggs with you guys? Since you're there and you can make that decision, just go ahead and send them this way. So
right.
No, so if you're the Bills GM, which direction? They says on there that all they need is defensive back, and they're apparently going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So what's your pick there?
This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Well,
of course they get scraps and Connor McGovern.
Yeah. Well, they got McGovern, right? They're fairly loaded on the offensive wide receiver. They need a running back, but this draft is stacked in running back. How's their linebacker core?
They did.
They just lost Edwards, right?
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go
Von Miller, right?
Von Miller is coming off an injury, so that's where I'm gonna go. So it's just a matter of who fits their scheme better. And with the 27th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Will McDonald, edge out of Iowa State.
Definitely would be a nice pickup. Would definitely help fill that hole.
Yeah,
it's hard to
it's
fill
a tough
in
one, man. It's not the easiest.
Yeah, I mean he was definitely making plays all over the place. So yeah, but I would not be against that one if I was Buffalo. So the next one we're going to go ahead and jump into is going to be for the Bengals, and that's going to be Space. You're going to be able to pick and see.
They're salivating right here, Space.
Look, you know who's about to be released, right?
Yep, Lyle, baby.
So let's get that music started. With the 28th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Tawan Jones, tackle out of Ohio State.
I can see that.
I can definitely see that. Definitely see that. And they're trying to trade. They would.
That's an upgrade over Lyle Collins.
I think almost anything right now by this point is an upgrade from Lyle Collins.
It's funny how just like 1 year. It's just funny how a year we got hammered for losing him. We got hammered for losing Connor Williams. It was just, and let's face it, Catboy was right. So we got to call it how we see it. He was right letting them guys go.
Media just wanted something. Yeah. We knew what the Cows was.
All right, so Cole, you are going to be able to pick for the Saints. I almost want to leave you for the Eagles so you can kind of rile up Eagle fans because you're very good at that. That seems to be your. I'm a you put YouTuber on there. I just thought you would just. I'm a person that riles up Eagle fans.
Put like get your effort to it. Nah.
So you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick for the Saints, and you're going to pick for the Eagles. That's what we're going to do here. I got to. So if I'm the Saints, of course, they've done some stuff with the salary cap that they've been able to push some stuff here, push some stuff there. They got quarterbacks that they're relying on that are, you got Carr, right? Carr is now in there. You got to get him some weapons. You got Michael Thomas that seemed to stay. He's not 100%. So I would, if I was the Saints, I am going to go ahead and take my guy here, Josh Downs, and I am going to get him a weapon that's kind of close to what Thomas can bring. And if hopefully he's healthy, he can do his role, but I want to replace that just in case I want to walk away from it and trade him off and everything. So I would pick Josh Downs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. They could go any number of ways. You got some, really good edge rushers still on the board. You got some corners. But hey, offensive tackles, you're still looking at 2 really good guards sitting there. So they're in a good spot, man.
So now, Cole, you get to pick for the Eagles at the 30th pick. So let me know, which direction are you going?
Let's see. Let me scan the
Now,
board.
listen, before Cole's picks for the Bungles or the Birds. This is actually the way they should draft. What we did, without overthinking it, I see Philly 500 is talking about Bijan. We want Bijan. We talked about a possible trade down, but in reality, their corners aren't there long term, or at least Slay's got another year, possibly 2. I loved what we did in the first, and they should probably double down and go defense now. But you're hearing a lot of, and we're going to do what we want, people. So Twiz, you could bite it. They're talking about getting, Jahmyr Gibbs at this spot. So just keep that in mind, what the Eagles fans want. But we're going to do what's the best and what we think is best for the franchise. So what would you do, my man?
All right, let me navigate this.
Navigate it. I was giving you time to look at it. That's all I was really doing. It was just a little.
Okay, I know who I'm gonna get. Let's go back up. All right, I'm actually being nice. Okay, so
don't be nice.
For the 30th pick for the Philadelphia Eagles, they select Lucas Van Ness from Iowa. Now that would be a nice pick for them.
I could see them going Brian Branch because they did lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but
they haven't drafted a safety.
Yeah.
But it really, I agree there. I just think that, like we spoke on the last couple, like with Philadelphia, their strategy should be, if this is how your board is, trade down. Just trade down. I love the pick of Lucas Van Ness. I think that you get a guy on the edge. But if it were me and I was the Eagles, I would have taken Steve Avila, because with Jason Peters soon to get Jason Peters, I'm sorry, Jason Kelce, I apologize. With him with him about to retire, you could take Steve Avila, play him at guard, and then push him into center to be your successor. But that's what I'm thinking. So
yeah.
I feel like rolling right into the second round, Phil.
See, the Eagle fans, they're afraid to get an offensive line because they feel like they just gonna sit and not get no playing time.
Right.
So let's see. The person that's going to be able to do the 31st pick here is going to be Cole just got that, so that would be me. So I think I might pass this along to one of you guys if you guys want to take it. Otherwise, I could for them to cheat.
Do we think this is where the trade up happens?
Yeah, you know what? This would be a prime real estate for it on day one. Kansas City. What really needs do they have glaring in their offense, or are they just picking over everybody's leftover and doing what they did with Sky Moore?
Mm-hmm.
They did good with it too.
Yeah. That wasn't I thought it was going to, but still,
I would say it probably something on the defense. If I had to guess, you got Ojulari, you got Forbes. I don't know.
They do safeties as well too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, it's your world.
That's you, my guy.
So of course, being Kansas City, I'd be celebrate. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. So with Kansas City, it's really just who do you want to pick? Who's the next up? That's older. I mean, you got Chandler Jones, for example. That is it Chandler Jones? Yeah. That he's hit and miss. He's kind of disappears in games. So I mean, he's definitely there to take up some blocks. So do you want another guy like them? Do you need another weapon? Do you want to solidify that corner spot? I think I would go and bring another guy in that we can sell jerseys and put in that defense. And I am going to go with Brian Branch, the safety out of Alabama, and get, start picking some defense, start getting something in there.
Well, Eric Berry esque. He's like an Eric Berry of old, but he's more physical. He's more of an in the box guy. So that's a good pick.
But again, I wouldn't be surprised if they went offensive line like Steve Avila that Space brings up. That would be another one, a slap in our face if they end up picking up somebody like that, and they're just again protecting Mahomes, doing their job. So that right there is the first round, guys. We are going already almost hour and 15 minutes into it. Let me stop this part here. Go back over here and bring it up. But yeah, I mean, there's still people on that board that that if we were to pick as well. I mean, you had Osiris Torrance that was there. I mean, that Avila that was there as well too.
Yeah.
Cam Smith, corner Forbes as well. It depends on how your board falls with those corners.
You know who I love? That's that's still there. That could be he could be a New England Patriot. Is that Jack Campbell out of Iowa, the linebacker?
Mm-hmm.
Man, he is a beast. I could see him slipping into the first round, but just real quick, this is what I was talking about. We didn't do trades, but this is why I would want to drop down. You see what you're looking at, in day 2 of the draft. You see what we're looking at. So to drop down and get another top 100 pick for somebody, whether it's the quarterback, like I said, if somebody wants to come back up, if whatever. But get that extra top 100 pick, drop down and grab one of these guys that we're still looking at. That would be what I would want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it looks like my internet is kind of getting some issues and stuff like that. So I think this is perfectly. It ends it whether I want to end it or not. But definitely a first round that could be hit and miss anywhere that you picking what you like. And then sometimes the NFL draft, there's always that guy that starts dropping that you don't expect to. And can we attack there? Can we trade back to let somebody else get that opportunity? And of course, say like he's saying, just pick up those extra picks in the meat of the drafts there, guys that were, for example, that's going to be able to give you some production, be role players as well. So I know I'm looking forward to this draft. We're going to be there with Mark as well. So Game Time Brian, going to be on the road with him. What are you guys doing? Cole, what are you going to be doing for the draft? Are you streaming it?
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about streaming. I didn't do it. I meant to do it last year, and I'm like, I'm probably not going to go ahead and do it this year.
We were planning on streaming it.
I wish I was with y'all, though. You know what I'm saying?
We were planning on streaming it. Really,
they're the wolf pack off of The Hangover.
You know what I'm saying?
We were planning on just streaming it because me and Phil, that's where we met last year on Mark's Live, and we basically took it over, and just. I'm pretty, big on the players as well as Phil. So it was fun. It was good times.
So y'all going to Kansas City?
Yes. Kansas City. Yeah. Space, what about you? Are you going to be doing anything during the draft?
No, probably not. I mean, usually what a tradition for me is always getting some wings, whatever the hell, and just part. Like for me, what'll happen is when our pick's coming up, I'll record myself, and thank God we're not early, so I can at least eat beforehand, and I'm not like, well, shit, now I gotta wait, and then I could finally do my thing. I don't like streaming it because it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna just watch and wait.
Yeah.
I would stream if we had like a top 10 pick. I would have a different conversation there, but yeah, I usually just enjoy it and then just
because it would just drag on for a while.
Yeah.
So, Loyal Cowboy, are you going to think would you pushing your YouTube channel, getting up in there? Are you thinking about doing anything for the draft? Maybe jumping on some other channel? Anything?
I want to jump on a Zoom call. I mean, that one we had that first year with Mark, that was fun. Seeing the Philly meltdowns and all that, the I fired Hauser, all that.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. I know Mark's going to try and go live, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that works.
But anyways, as we get out of here, we're gonna start with Space down here on this top bottom corner. Let people know where to find you if they haven't already, so they can give you a follow there.
Yeah, if you guys have not seen me, you could follow me over on Space Cowboy Media on YouTube, and on Twitter it's Space Cowboy MED in all caps. That's where you could find me on those particular socials. Yep, just putting out Cowboys content as everybody else is, because we love this damn team, even though they could piss us off sometimes. But yeah, it was definitely fun to be a part of this, and I cannot believe we're right around the corner till April. I believe we're now less or close to less than 30 days. Until the
about a month away. Yeah, 29. So yeah, we're less than 30 days away.
Yeah.
Cole, let people know where to find you if somehow they haven't heard your loud mouth yet.
You can find me on Cole's Cowboys, same handle on Twitter and YouTube.
All right, Loyal Cowboy, do you have anything that there are people following on? People can jump on there, or just watch out for Loyal Cowboy and some of his content's coming.
Coming soon. I mean,
all right.
right now.
And Game Time, you're my partner in crime. You're over here. You did very well. You let people talk. I like it. But no,
I'm a gentleman, Phil. I'm a gentleman.
Shit, definitely like it.
Yeah, he's always breaking my stones. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, we're here because we're all Cowboys fans. We got our regulars in. I love Weed, Twiz, Angelica. It goes on and on. I love everybody in here. Thanks for being so loyal. I'm excited about the draft. This is going to be my first draft that we're going. It's going to be the first time I meet Phil in person, even though I know him like a brother already. But yes, you guys can find me at Game Time Brian on Twitter and YouTube, as well as with Primetime Phil. We do our show. We haven't decided whether we're going Friday or Saturday. I don't know yet. I'll tweet that out when we do. But yes, I'm psyched, and it's nice to meet Space Cowboys, man. It's nice hanging out with you, bro.
I've been trying to get him on here for a while, and all of a sudden the end of the season happened and everything was going. You're like, okay, gotta make content, gotta get out there, gotta talk. And then I was like, look, this is the perfect time with the off season. Get people in here. Let's get this Cowboy Nation. Let's build this up because we have different opinions. We're not all going to have the same opinion, and that's why they call us Cowboy Nation. That's why we're America's team, is because it's big, and you're going to have people that just like relatives. You don't always agree with. Some of them are a little bit loud. They're winning Super Bowl every single year. It's nice to be in a room with some guys that are level-headed and they understand what this team is doing. So, again, thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Give me a comment. Let us know what you think. If you agree with any of our picks or if you disagree, definitely you want to talk some trash. We're all about that as well. But one thing don't forget to ever do is to what? Ring that bell. All right, guys. See you later. Hey!